Everyone, good day, good morning, good evening, wherever you're in the world. Welcome to another Excel data analysis presentation brought to you by your Bizage. So for today's session, we're having sequence, the most amazing new Excel function, part 2. So this is going to be a continuation of where we stopped 2 weeks ago by Meni Porat. So as you all know, this session is brought to you by your business. So your business is a registered Microsoft Excel consulting, financial modeling, business intelligence, data analysis, and enterprise solution firm in Nigeria. We also specialize in helping companies and high-value professionals be on top of their business data. We're also the developer of some Nigerian data analysis tools, such as the Nigerian Finance Market Analysis tool, which you can find on Microsoft Office Store. We're also the developer of the Nigerian Stock Analysis Dashboard. As you all know, we're also a training company in Lagos, Nigeria. We also have a branch in Lagos, Port Harcourt, and Abuja. So this is our calendar for our upcoming training. So on the 24th of October, which is tomorrow, we'll be having financial modeling and DFA valuation. On the 1st of November, we're having Python for data analysis. On the 7th of November, we're having finance and financial statement for non-finance managers. So I'll give a brief description about our special guest. So he's an experienced system analyst specializing in designing, developing, and integrating financial systems and novel service into various financial institutes such as the commercial bank, credit card companies, and insurance corporation. He's a teacher and a private tutor. He teaches Excel, English, Math, Hebrew, Arabic instruction to students from grade 5 to 12 in high school, and also preparing students for matriculation exam in Israel, as well as IELTS and TOEFL, that's English proficiency exam. He's also an Excel enthusiast by teaching, instructing, and developing Excel projects in VBA, that's Visual Basic Application, integrating Excel with other products of Microsoft Office software package. So with no further ado, I'll hand over the section to our special guest. I'll stop sharing my screen and hand over the section to you. So over to you.
Welcome all the guests and participants of this demo. My name is Meni Porat, as was introduced previously by the host. What we're going to do today is I'm going to continue from when we start from the previous presentation. As you will remember, we had 6 categories in which I wanted to demonstrate things in a sequence. We've covered 3 of the three first ones, as you can see, text, numbers, and arrays. And today I'm going to finish the second day installment of the presentation. I'm going to show you things or some tricks using sequence in the three last categories: dates and times, finance, and math. So without much ado, let's go and jump to the first example. The first example I showed briefly in the previous session. I want to go and enhance and explain more. So please tell me if you see the Excel file right now, the Excel worksheet.
Yes.
Do you see
yes.
it now? Yes. Okay.
Yes, we can see it.
The idea here is showing a monthly calendar, and this can be seen or can be shown in 2 different modes. And the modes are these. The first one, or the first possibility, the first mode is the classic one, which means I'm showing the monthly calendar where the week starts on the weekday of the month, first day. So if you see, for example, the parameter for classic is 0, which means the week starts on the weekday of the first day of the month. Here, Sunday or Saturday, the 1st of April 2017 started on Saturday. But I can change this to 1, and if I change this to 1, the screen changes, or the outlay changes, where you see the first 6 days of the month are empty because the 1st of April 2017 started on Saturday. And this is an interesting situation, because this is one of the rarest things, or rarest situations, in which this month has 6 weeks. As you can see, this is week number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, and the last day of the month, the 30th of April, is on the 6th week. So when I designed this solution, I had to take into consideration the rare situation, the rare cases where there are 6 weeks in a month. The idea behind this is the trick using the conditional formatting. As you can see on the right, this explains there are two formulas behind this screen, which when formatting this area, if A1 is less than 10, then we have a blank one. Can show it. Let's select the whole range. If we go to conditional formatting, manage rules, you can see two rules. Rule number one is this one, and we have a background of we change the color of the text to transparent, so you cannot see whatever is behind this. You can see if I click, for example, on this date, you can see that we have here the numbers 31, 32, 33, etc., which of course are beyond the numbers of the day of the week. But since we use this clever method of conditional formatting, these numbers are not shown, they are transparent. The same applies to the beginning, where we have nothing here, so these are empty cells. So as I explained, we can use it in both ways, either with 0. This is a less common one because usually you don't show the week from the day it starts, and the more common one is this one, the classic one, where the calendar begins at the day or the full calendar is shown, and the calendar starts with the day of when the weekday of the first day of the month. Okay, so and what I want to emphasize is in both cases we use only one formula. Can you see if I switch? Please look at the formula bar above. If I switch from 1 to 0, so the same formula appears both sides. The only trick here is using the conditional formatting with, of course, and this couldn't have been done without the assistance, of course, or without the assistance of the sequence function. If this is very clear, or if anybody has any questions, I can go to the next example. Is this clear enough?
So if there's any question, you can drop your question in the chat box. But it's clear, sir. It's clear, sir.
Okay, so I don't, where do I have the chat? Okay. Or maybe we will keep the questions to the end of the session. What do you think?
Okay, that would be preferable. That would be preferable.
Okay, so far so good. I'm going to the next example.
Yes.
Let's go here. So we were here. Now I'm going to show another example. Can you see the screen now?
Yes.
Yes. So this is actually a replacement of the famous function Workday International. Are you familiar with the Workday International function in Excel?
Yes, Workday.
Do I have to repeat to explain the function? The function actually takes two dates, the start date and the end date, and calculates the number of working days between those two dates. And you have only to specify in each country, of course, the rest days are, or the holidays are different. For example, in my country, Friday and Saturday are the days that we don't work, but in other countries, I know that, for example, in the USA, you don't work on Sunday and Saturday. So I'd have to change here from 6 to 7 to 1 and 7, Saturday and Sunday. And another option that we have here is, suppose in this particular period, you have holidays. In my country, for example, in this period, we are in the month of October 2022, we have two holidays, for example, just to make it simple. And here you can see on the right, I took the calendar of October 2022 and you can see, for example, if I don't take into consideration the holidays, then we have 15 days of work. We can see clearly there's no problem. 5 in the first week, 5 in the second week, 5 in the third week until the 22. So we have a total of 15 days. So far, so good. Do you understand the example and showing it on the calendar? Okay. Here in this example, in this calendar, we have Sunday and Saturday. So then instead of Friday, I'm changing to 1 and 7, and the solution is the same. Sunday and Saturday, Saturday and Sunday are the non-working days. So we have 5 days on the first week, 5 days on the third week, and 5 days on the third week until the 22. So we have a total of 15 days. Now, if I want to add the holidays, or I'm not actually adding, we are subtracting the holidays. So if in this period we have 2 holidays, all I have to do is change the parameter with holidays will be true. And now what's supposed to have it is if you omit 2 working days in this period, the answer in A3 is supposed to be 13, as you can see. Is the explanation clear enough?
Perfect, perfect, perfect.
Yes. Okay. So you can play with it. For example, if I change 6 to 7 in my country, I can change 1 to 7 in the USA and most of other countries in the world. You see the same solution. Of course, the only way to understand the whole mechanism of the function, or the whole mechanism of the formula, actually, I'm using here the let function, is to play with it, and then you can understand how it works. If this is clear, then I'm going to the next example. Okay, now this is something very interesting, because in my country, I use 2 methods or 2 user interfaces. And for example, what I'm going to show you here is 2 tricks. The first trick is this one, in which you don't have to specify the date in order to extract the names of the numbers of the month. For example, if I write this is function, sequence. Oh, let's start with date. Date. I omit the year, and the month is going to be sequence, starting with the second month. And this is the trick here. And what you can
I think your
Okay.
audio is gone. Okay.
The audio is gone? Okay, no, everything's okay. I'm going to show you here on the side what this part of the function is going to do. If I press F9, you can see we have the numbers from 31, the last days of each month. Okay, so if you add a text to it, it gives you only the names of the months. You can now omit this one. You can see it here. Okay, this part gives you the numbers of days, accumulating days from the beginning of the month of the year. After the end of January, you have 31 days. After the end of February, you have 60 days. After the end of March, you have 91 days, etc., until you have 366 days. Okay. Okay. Now, but you begin with the second. If I point only to this part of the formula, you can see we begin with 2. So in order to get the number of days of the first month of January, we put number 2. Okay, this is the trick. The sequence begins with 2, not with 1. If you remember the parameters of the sequence function, it takes 4 parameters. The first one is rows, the second is columns, then the third one is the start, and we start with second, not with third, not with first, in order to get the correct result. Now, another trick that we have here is, since, as I said, we have here in my country, I use 2 interfaces. If I want the English one, the parameter would be B1, But if I omit the B1 and I put the regular MMMM, then it goes to switch to Hebrew. You can see it. So this is a trick if you use in your country more than one user interface, like English and Hungarian, English and French, whatever, then if you change the last parameter from MMMM, you add B1 before the MMMM, then it switches to English. This is something that I discovered lately, and you can use it if you need. Okay, is this example clear enough? If it's clear enough, I'm going to the next example. Okay.
Perfect, perfect.
Okay, now this is something very another example. I hope you see the screen, right?
Yes, yes, I can see the screen.
Okay, now something which could be more practical. The idea is this: suppose you run an agency, a social security agency, and in this agency you have customers or people who are supposed to report in several days of the week in order to get their support. Okay, so we have here a few customers. For example, take the first customer, J.K. Rowling. She is supposed to report on 1 and 2, which means she is supposed to report on every Sunday and Monday. Okay, and we have to know exactly how many days during the current month she is supposed to report. What is the total reporting days for this current month? For if you are talking about August 2021, then she has to report 10 days. And this is the formula which I'm going to explain afterwards. But first of all, we must understand the principle. Or take, for example, the second customer, Catherine Deneuve. She is supposed to report on every Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. 1, 2, 4, and 5. So she is supposed to report 18 days in this month. How can we see on the calendar on the right? On the first week of the month, she reports 4 days, right? On the second week, she reports another 4 days, which is already 10. Then another 4 days, which is 12. Another 4 days on the fourth week, which is 16. And then 1 and 2, Sunday and Monday, because Wednesday is already at the next month. So 16 plus 2 is 18. Or take, for example, Angelina Jolie. She is supposed to report on every Monday and Thursday, right? 2 and 5. So on the first week, she reports on 2 days, and then 2 days is 4, and then 2 days is 6, and 2 days is 8. And on the last week, she can report only on Monday because Thursday falls on the next month. So the total days that she is supposed to report during this month of August 2021 would be only 9 days. So if you understand the example, now let's dive into the formula. Is the example understood?
Okay, so there's some questions. I don't know, should I ask you the questions or should we wait to the end of the section?
If I can't see
Okay, so in the chat box, someone is asking that, so Philip is asking that, are there other code like B1 to control the text display, like French and Italy and Italian?
Can you repeat what the question refers to?
During that time you were displaying the calendar, you were doing it in Arabic and Hebrew and the rest. So someone's asking now that
not this sense, not this session. Okay. You're referring to something which I didn't display, didn't demonstrate on this session, maybe on one of our previous sessions, when you can use a code to force Excel to show the date or the month or whatever in the language that which you prefer. Is this what you're referring to? Is this your question?
Okay. So there was a time that you changed the days of the week, like to Arabic. So the person is asking that, are there other codes like B1 to control text display that can show in French or Italian?
Do you want me to go to the previous example? Is this what you want?
Yeah, the previous example.
Okay, let's go to the previous example. You mean this one, okay? Are you referring to this this example?
Sorry, come on. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So what I showed you here is, in my case, I use 2 user interfaces. I can type in Hebrew or in English. The default option is Hebrew. If I want to switch in English, or in this case, if I omit the B1 here, and the last parameter to the text function is only MMMM, then you'll see the names of the months are going to be in Hebrew, as you can see now. You see, it's not in English, it's in Hebrew, because this is the default option of my interface. But if I change the last parameter of the text function to, I add the B1 at the beginning, then if I press enter, the names of the months will be now in English. You see the difference? This is the trick.
Yeah.
The B1.
Okay. So
I say,
okay. So it's
if you read the box here at the bottom, the B1 prefix to the second argument of the text function forces the text to display the reply in English in case the user interface is not in English, as it is the case on my computer. Is this clear? Is this the example
awesome.
Clear?
Awesome.
Okay.
Awesome.
What I want to say is that sometimes during my explanation, I omit a few words that you can read afterwards in the boxes, and the boxes are always red, yellow background, and the text is in red. So these add more explanations to what is going on the worksheet. So if everything is now more clear, then let's go to the next example. I'm going back to the example of the agency, right? In which each customer has a certain days of the week in which you're supposed to report. First of all, do you understand the problem here? Do you understand the problem? That each customer has different days of the week in which he's supposed to report. Someone has to report only on Sunday or Monday. Someone has to report on Wednesday and Thursday. So the number of days, the total number of days that you're supposed to report in each month varies or changes from customer to customer. Is this clear? Is it?
Yes.
Now, if you want me, I can dive into the formula, which is not very difficult to explain. Okay, so we use our F9, for example. First of all, let's take the sequence with day. Okay, and let's press F9, and we can see. Can you see the numbers at the formula bar? It goes from 1 to 31, okay? Is this clear? Can you see it?
Yes, 1 to 31.
Yes, 1 to 31. Now, if we add a weekday, if we wrap it on with a weekday around it, then you can see the numbers, but now the numbers are the weekday. For 1 stands for Sunday, 2 stands for Monday, etc. And this 7 is Saturday, and then again we have Sunday, Monday until Saturday, and then again until Saturday, and then we have 1, 2, 3, which are the last 3 days of the month: Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Is this clear? Is this clear?
Yes.
Okay. So now this is the left part of the formula. The second part of the formula uses again the sequence. Why? Because we have to extract from this part only the numbers which are relevant. So if, for example, go to this part of the example of the function, and I press F9. Oh, I missed something. The mid is going to supposed to be until here. I hope this is okay now. You can see what the sequence or the mid function on the right-hand side of the formula gives me the days in cell B4, which are 1 and 2. And then what is left to me to do is to compare or to sum. How many times does 1 appear on the left-hand side within August, and then 2, and the sum together. The first one, Sunday, appears 5 times, right? You can see here 5 times. And Monday appears also 5 times. So 5 plus 5 are 10. And this is the exact number, which is the result of the formula in cell C4. So far, so good. Is everything understood so far?
Perfect.
Yes,
Perfect.
I'm going to continue because time is running up, and we have to.
Yeah.
As I promised, I want to finish everything in this session. I don't want to postpone anything to the third one, because there's not going to be any third one. Okay. Okay. So as I explained, the mechanism, the same works for each and every formula. It says C4 to C8. Okay. And of course, after you get the files, after the session is over, you can check for yourself and see and play and to understand more thoroughly the mechanism behind it. Okay, if everything is okay, I'm going to the next one. So we're finished the chapter or the category of dates and times. We're going to finance. Okay, this is, since most of you are probably deal with finance, come from a financial background, or deal daily with financial problems, either as accountants, etc. We're going to see two examples that refer to finance. Let's go to the first one. Can you see the screen, please?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
This is quite messy. I apologize for the messy screen. What we have here is a simulation of a loan. Okay, we all know how to compute a loan, PMT, etc. But usually you can compute only one single loan. The sequence helps us to simulate more than one loan. For example, if you see in this example, I can first of all, I can change the payment frequency from quarterly to monthly. Okay, and as you can see, the numbers change. So if, for example, the annual rate is 1.5 and the number of payments is 24, and we start from 100,000 with the increment of 10,000 in each additional example. So we start from 100,000, then 110, 120 until 250. Okay, we have the gap, or the increment is of 10,000. Okay. So in one screen, in one formula, you have 10 options. You don't have to type 10 times where the PMT is 100,000 PMD, okay? And then 110, 120. You can see it in one formula gives you 10 options. And of course, you can play with, I didn't want to play with the annual rate. You can also play with the annual rate. You can play with the number of ampere, the number of payments, and you can, of course, start with a smaller or higher amount, and you can change the increment as much as you can. But this gives you a very clear and simple method to check whether you prefer to take a loan of 100,000, in which the monthly payment would be this one, or you prefer to take a loan of a much higher sum, for example, this one, in which the amount, the monthly payment, the monthly return would be this one on cell A17. And of course, before I go, I want to check whether this method, the calculation is good, is correct. So I go to this site, which is called Loan Calculator. I suppose you're familiar with that. The annual rate is 150, 1.5, okay? The loan terms is 2 years, which means 2, right? 24 payments is 2 years. The loan amount is 100,000. And now if I calculate it, the result is 424308. 424308, which means that my calculation is correct. So far everything is clear? No response. Did you understand?
Awesome.
Good. Did you understand? So I can switch also, instead of monthly payment frequency, I can change to the quarterly. So if I go to the quarterly, I go back to the to this site, the loan calculator, and instead the long term is going to be months, but the number of months, like 3 months, no. How do I tell him to payments per year, quarterly, okay? So the number of months will be 24, and if we calculate, we get 12,711, right? You see the sum here in A2, cell A2, 12,711, which is the same amount as the amortization payment here. Is this clear?
Crystal clear.
Yes. So the idea is that I always check myself that I'm not doing nonsense, because I'm not an accountant, I'm not an economist, I'm just an Excel expert, and I have to check that what I'm offering you is not nonsense. Okay. So far, so good. Can we go to the next example, or do you want me to elaborate more on this on the method?
So no questions so far. So I think we can go to the next. No questions so far.
Yes, because people are stunned, because such a simple solution can save you so much time instead of calculating this option and that option. And one simulation can give you at once so many results. Is this clear?
Right, sir.
Okay, I'm going to the next example, which is also has to do with finance. By the way, I just want to, I could have shown changing of the annual rate and changing the number of periods and changing, but it'll be too messy. So I prefer to show it in another worksheet. Okay, let's go to the next one, is the loan rate. What I'm going to show here is a trick that I use here. I'm using here 2 spin buttons. Are you familiar with the spin button in Excel?
Yeah, under the VBA.
No, it's not part of VBA. No, not VBA. You just have to add the developer tab, and then you can add a spin button. And how do you add a spin button? You go, for example, if I want the spin button here, I go to the developer, I choose the insert, and use the spin button here. And now we have a spin button. You don't need any VBA whatsoever. This is a common mistake, a common misconception. No need for code, no need for code whatsoever. You just have to add the developer tab and then add the spin button. And why did I add the spin button? The reason is simple. For example, the increments are in a fraction. The spin button doesn't know to work with action. I'm going to show you the spin button. The spin button knows only the increments are only numbers, okay? Natural numbers. The natural numbers are from 0 to 1 without fractions. It cannot, the spin button cannot handle neither negative numbers nor fractions. So the trick is that I use this to take this number here, I divide it by 1,000, and I get the increment in fractions of a percent. For example, if I take I use the spin button, now we have 0.10%, another one 0.20%, another one 0.3%, etc., etc. And the same applies to initial rate. I can start with 5%, I can start with 4%, I can start with 6%, whatever. And of course, it all reflects in the results in cell B2. And of course, the most important cell is A2, which tells me the monthly payment. Is this clear? This is less clear because this is more sophisticated, but you can play with it. I must stress again, unlike what you thought in the beginning, no need to code. Everything is being done with the spin button, and the spin button can be added if you don't have it on your screen. Okay, you can edit
Okay, so someone's asking a question. He said that he noticed you use an hybrid reference for B2. Is there a reason for this?
What?
What is the question that you... So he said he noticed you use an hybrid reference for B2. So let me make you a speaker. Philip, I'll make you a speaker right about now. So where's Philip?
Can you please repeat your question?
Okay, so someone is saying that you notice use an hybrid reference for cell B2.
Hybrid reference, what do you mean? B2
So that's
here.
like a mixed reference, a mixed reference. So Philip, Philip, you can unmute
Yes,
yourself
when
and
you
speak.
refer to cell B2,
Yes.
you have a dollar symbol before the column letter B. It's a
Are you referring
relative,
to
but yet a no dollar symbol before the row 2. Any
do we need it?
specific reason you configured it like that?
Because I have only one line. I don't have to drag it downwards, but I don't need the absolute reference. There's only one formula in one cell.
Well,
When
yes,
do you
that's
need
true. But
why
that's
do you need
true.
the
But
you don't need relative reference because you don't drag the formula
oh,
downwards
I understand that.
or rightwards.
So why not $B $2?
If you want to do it, but it's not necessary. It's superfluous. It's redundant.
I
Do you
understand.
understand what I say?
I usually think you have creative reasons for the decisions you make. So I just looked at it and noticed it was different.
Philip is Philip speaking?
Yes,
Yes.
still speaking.
Okay, Philip. Okay, so Philip, after you I'll be sending the files, and you will get them. You can play around with them, and see for yourself the solution if it works or not.
No, Meni,
Okay.
you have very creative solutions, and I was just noticing the subtlety of a mixed reference.
It depends on situations. Sometimes you need them, sometimes you don't. That's all. In this case, since we have only one formula and we don't drag it downwards, then no need to absolute reference, or not even to mixed reference if you know the difference. There are 3 kinds of references in Excel, you know, absolute, relative, and mixed. We don't.
Yes.
Okay. So F2 plus, if you look at the formula in cell B2, it's F2 plus I2. What's F2? It's the initial rate. What's I2? The addition, the increment. So the monthly rate is composed by adding the 2 parts of the rate. The initial one, which is 7%.
Yes.
And I can play with it. I don't touch the file itself. I use the spin button and change this to 8%. And if you take 8% plus 0.30 and divide by 12, you get this result. That's all. Is this clear?
Yes.
And of course, since we don't have too much time, you can check always. I added to the file to the worksheet link to the site which can calculate online. You put in the correct parameters, the rate, the number of payments, the PV, the present value, etc., and you're supposed to get, of course, the same result as the Excel. If there is a difference in result, then the formula is not correct. Okay, so far so good.
Okay.
Good.
Any more
thank
questions?
You, Philip.
I'd like to have more questions because I want to move forward.
Okay. So I think 2 people asking the similar questions right now. So they said, how do you link the spin button?
Okay, the
spin button from a developer tab.
Okay. After you install, you add the developer tab. Okay. If I right click on the spin button, you can see the format control. I choose the format control, and in the format control it says the current value is 3, right? Minimum value is 0, maximum value is 10. I can, of course, you can add more than 10, but in this case it's not relevant. And the incremental change is 1. I want it in increments of 0.1%, tenth of a percent, okay? And the cell link is J2. This is the cell link, okay? The J2, the 2 cells which are whose background is green are only helper columns, as is written here. But the real formula sits here in I2, where I took this value in J2, which is 3. I divide by 1,000 to get it in percents, and it gives me 0.3%. And this is being added to the formula in B2, where I take the initial rate, F2, plus I2, and this is the one I get. But since we are referring to a monthly rate, we have to divide it by 12, and this is the monthly rate. Is this clear? No response. Is so far everything is clear?
Okay, yeah, they said they got it. They got it. Thanks. They got it.
Okay, the only problem that you have is how to add the developer to tab to the to your
Excel tab.
Yes, okay. And if everything is okay, I'm going to move to the last part of the demonstration, and which refers to mathematics. Okay, math in Excel. I don't know how familiar you are with the math in Excel, but there are many things, as among other things I teach math. So these are some nice examples to show both the use of spin buttons and math. This is the sine function. I'm not going to explain what the sine function. And we have here also two spin buttons. The first one is the gap in pi. I'm not going to explain what pi is. So if I change the pi to I minimize it, you see that the gap is wider, right? And the same, I can also change the number of instances. So here, for example, we have 18 instances. If I remove, then you have only the chart, the sine chart is smaller. If I increase the number of the gap, then of course you can see this is going to be more accurate, right? As far as I'm showing. Okay, is this clear? I'm not going to this one is excellent. This is very similar to the graphs, to the chart that you see the sine chart or the ideal chart. Okay, and you can of course play with it, and if you add more instances, you can see that on the table on the left hand side, you can see each additional instance increases the size of the chart. And this is done, of course, automatically without intervention of physical intervention. I don't key or anything. And the same trick is being done here because the spin button cannot handle fractions. I have to take the number here and divide it by 10 in order to get the gap in fractions and not in full numbers. Is this clear for so far? If so, we'll go on.
Interesting.
Okay, next one is taking, using again mathematics, taking a number to the power of. Again, we can decide with the power of, for example, to the power of 2. As you can see, on the right side, or the right hand side, the number 1 to the power of 2 is 1. Number 2 to the power of 2 is 4, etc. This is the numbers, and this is the chart itself. And I can change the numbers on the list. You can minimize the numbers, less numbers. Let's say if I want to show in class, for example, only 9 numbers, and I can increase the number. And I can change the power. Instead of the power of 2, the power of 3, the power of 4, the power of 5, and you can see the numbers increase in very huge chunks. For example, a 16 to the power of 5 is a huge number, more than 1 million. Okay. By the way, this number here in Y18 is something that has to do with Excel. This is the total number of cells in one worksheet. Did you know that? So 16 to the power of 5, this number is the total number of cells in any Excel file, Excel sheet, worksheet. So if this is quite understood, I'm going to show you the last but not least example of the math calculations using the sequence function. Okay. This refers only to the quadratic equations, and here the trick is to use the minus. Okay, because the part of the chart on the left to the y-axis is negative numbers, as you can see on the left hand side, right? So if I want to show the whole chart, I need to use negative numbers. Okay, and again I use the spin button 4, 5, and you can see on the left hand side, if you multiply minus 6 to the power of 2 is the same as 6 to the power of 2. Minus 6 to the power of 2 is 36, and 6 to the power of 2 36, which gives me an excellent, very accurate chart. So I can increase to 7, 8, 9, etc. And of course the numbers decrease by and I stopped. The spin button here stops at 10 because I didn't need any higher numbers. 10 is good enough. I could of course increase the number to 20, but it loses the effectiveness of showing the how effective or how good this example is. So far so good. So this actually wraps my demo, my presentation.
So someone has a question regarding that one right now. So
just a second, just a second. Please do me a favor and speak more slowly because I can't understand you if you speak quickly.
Okay, sorry about that. So Philip is asking a question right now. So he said that, what is the range of the chart you connected to? And is it connected to a dynamic table?
Which one? Which?
The last example you just did right now.
Of the math example?
Yeah, the math.
This one, the quadratic equation?
Yes.
I'm going to repeat it and show. I'm going to show it once again, okay? There are some tricks here. For example, here I need there's a formula that takes the J1 because I want to show negative numbers, okay? If I increase it, then we have 2. It starts with minus 2. But there are several questions. There are several formulas here. Okay, this is the formula, the sequence one, which takes the number here, and this is the formula here. This is the. I copy it, and you can see this formula here. The formula in D6 refers to the y-axis, which is column B. Okay.
Yes, I'm interested in the chart.
Okay.
Can you click the chart and show the data that the chart is connected to in the chart design tab of the ribbon? Correct.
Okay, can you see it now? From -1. Okay. Actually, it's connected to the x-axis. Okay, is this what you mean?
Yes, and the definition of series 1. So if you could click edit. I see. So you have connected the chart to a large range of cells. I understand now.
Okay, the best idea would be, Philip, if I may say so, is to play around with it or toy with the file when you have it. Okay, that's the best idea because you can have it and you can understand thoroughly everything behind the screens. Okay, is this clear?
Okay, yeah, he said so, thank you.
Any more questions before? Any more questions before we actually wrap it up?
Wow, this is amazing.
Did you like it? Did you like it?
I never knew Sequence could do all of this actually. So you've just
and then this is a good opportunity to tell you that I'm about to finish my book, which my book is going to show 120 examples in which you can use Sequence. In all 6 categories which I showed you. We spoke about 6 categories, right? Text, numbers, arrays, dates and times, finance, and math. All these categories are going to be shown in this book. So please be patient because it's not very easy to write a book. As Philip already knows, we discussed it in a chat via LinkedIn. So if everything is okay, if you liked it and you think it was like enlightening, or I would like please like it on the page of the session, and that's all. Thank you very much all. First of all, I want to thank the organizers, and then of course the participants. And see you on my next webinar. One last time. In the previous or this one, we discussed dates and times. A few months ago, I gave a webinar about dates and times, a full webinar of more than about 90 minutes. If it's okay with you, I can add the link to this webinar on YouTube, and you can watch. You can have like two birds in one shot.
Awesome.
Both sequence, which was the topic of this lecture, and the dates and times, which has nothing to do with sequence. Okay, if everything is okay, thank you very much. Hope to see you in the next future, in the near future. And the book is on its way. I'd like it. I'd appreciate. I would appreciate it very much if you would buy the book. Thank you.
Oh, awesome. So before you go, so we usually ask our special guests 2 questions. So question number 1 is how you start your old data journey with Excel, and also question number 2 is
just a second. Just a second. Can you please repeat the first question? I didn't understand.
So question number 1 is, can you tell the audience how you started your old journey using Excel? How you started your old journey using Excel?
How I started my journey using Excel.
Yes.
Oh, that's a question. First of all, I've used Excel only on the last few years. I use it in a very superficial method or superficial use. But then I fell in love with Excel, and the best way to be a master in Excel, to be an expert, is to practice and practice and practice and read more and try more. I mean, like trying it, not only reading it and trying it. When you see an explanation which really you like. No, Philip, I didn't switch from Lotus to 1 to 3. I started, as I said, to be interested in Excel only the last few years, like 5 or 6 years ago. Until then, I wasn't really an addict of Excel, if you can say so. I wasn't addicted to Excel as I am now. Does this answer the question?
Awesome.
Next question. What was your second question?
So the second question was, what advice do you have for people just starting out in the journey of data analysis using Excel?
The best advice is, since I teach not only Excel, I teach also Arabic and math and Hebrew and English. The best advice is to read and read and read. Read more and try more. Read and try. Read and read. Read anything. Try YouTube.